On June 26, 2025, Xiaomi Robotics quietly did something no major hardware company has done before. They open-sourced U0, a 38 billion parameter multimodal world foundation model designed to give robots the ability to imagine the future. Not just the weights, the inference code, a working Gradio demo on Hugging Face, everything a developer needs to start building. This isn't a chatbot. It's not an image generator. It's a machine that watches the world through a robot's eyes and predicts what happens next, frame by frame, action by action. To understand why this matters, you need to understand what a world model is. In robotics, a world model takes in what a robot currently sees, camera feeds, joint positions, sensor data, and generates predictions of future states. If I move my arm 30 degrees left, what does the world look like in half a second? In 2 seconds? This is how planning becomes possible. Instead of reacting to the present, the robot simulates dozens of possible futures and picks the best one. It's the difference between driving by staring at the hood and driving by reading the road ahead. U0 processes both vision and proprioception, the robot's internal sense of its own body position. That multimodal fusion is critical. A robot that only sees but doesn't feel its own joints is like a surgeon operating with numb hands. Here's where the economics get interesting. Training robots traditionally requires thousands of hours of real-world demonstrations. Humans physically guide robot arms through tasks. That's expensive, slow, and doesn't scale. Xiaomi is using U0 as a synthetic data engine. The world model generates realistic future scenarios, simulated visual sequences that look and behave like the real world. You can then train smaller, task-specific robot policies on the synthetic data without ever touching a physical robot. This fundamentally changes the cost structure of robot learning. According to Xiaomi's technical documentation, the approach aims to make robot training both cheaper and self-sufficient, a system that bootstraps its own training data. This release didn't come from nowhere. Earlier in 2025, Xiaomi open-sourced a 4.7 billion parameter vision language action model, a VLA that translates what a robot sees and hears into physical motor commands. That model handles the execution layer. See object, understand instruction, move arm. U0 sits above it. The world model handles imagination and planning. The VLA handles action. Together, they form a deliberate open robotic stack, perception, prediction, and action, all publicly available. Xiaomi is building this in the open on purpose. They're not releasing research papers and holding back the weights. They're shipping usable infrastructure. So what can developers actually do with this right now? 3 immediate applications stand out. First, sim-to-real robotics.
U0's world modeling capabilities let you train policies in simulation that transfer to physical robots. The model's understanding of physics and visual consistency bridges that notoriously difficult sim-to-real gap. Second, drone control and navigation. A world model that predicts future visual states from action inputs is exactly what autonomous drones need for obstacle avoidance and path planning. Third, industrial arm policies. Manufacturing tasks, pick and place, assembly, inspection, can be prototyped using U0-generated synthetic scenarios before deploying on actual factory hardware. The Gradio demo on Hugging Face means you don't even need local GPU infrastructure to start experimenting. At 38 billion parameters, U0 is substantial but not unwieldy by current standards. The model uses a multimodal architecture that encodes visual frames alongside proprioceptive state vectors, joint angles, velocities, torques. What distinguishes it from academic world models is scale and generality. Most prior robotics world models were narrow, trained on a single robot morphology performing specific tasks. Xiaomi's positioning of U0 as a foundation model suggests it's designed to generalize across embodiments, different robots, different sensor configurations, different tasks. That generality, if it holds in practice, is what makes it a foundation rather than just another model. Xiaomi isn't the only company building world models for robots. Google DeepMind has Genie. Physical Intelligence has shipped foundation models for manipulation. Tesla develops internally for Optimus. But almost none of them are open. Google publishes papers. Tesla shows demos. Physical Intelligence offers API access. Xiaomi is releasing weights, code, and a demo. That distinction matters enormously for the global robotics community. Researchers in Nairobi, students in Sao Paulo, startups in Bangalore, they can now build on the same foundation model architecture that a $100 billion corporation uses internally. Open sourcing at this level is a strategic choice. Xiaomi likely benefits from community improvements and ecosystem lock-in, but the effect is real. The barriers to entry for advanced robot learning just dropped significantly. Step back and consider what's emerging. A major consumer electronics company has now released both the planning layer and the action layer of a complete robotic intelligence stack. Open weights, open code. The world model handles imagination. The VLA handles execution. The synthetic data engine handles training economics. If these components work as described, we're looking at a future where building a capable robot no longer requires a massive data collection operation. You need hardware, an internet connection, and the ability to fine-tune open models. That's a profound shift. Robotics has been bottlenecked by data scarcity and proprietary systems for decades. Xiaomi just opened a door that doesn't close.
Whether this particular model delivers on its full promise remains to be seen.
38 billion parameters on a robotics task is ambitious. Sim-to-real transfer remains notoriously fragile, and open-source models require communities to thrive, not just downloads. But the direction is unmistakable. The age of closed, proprietary robot intelligence is ending, and it's a Chinese consumer tech company, not a Western AI lab, leading that charge.